Good morning.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Fancy a moan? We're here and we're ready to moan with you. Jeez, Belize, we have got so much to moan about.
Yeah.
Should we just first have a little moan about our illness? Just a little one for a few seconds.
Yeah, and I just have to sort of throw out there, I can't do that thing. You know, when you talk, two people, we talk over each other all the time. So I can't do that thing where when one talks over, you go a bit louder to interrupt, so because it literally triggers a cough. So I might sound odd when I'm trying to say something. That's all I'm trying to say.
Because you know, it's a scientific fact that men get worse flu than women. Mm. Did you know that, guys?
Yeah, where are we taking this?
That is an actual scientific fact.
Are we talking about misogyny tonight? Because I feel like just baked into this is a little bit of reverse.
What is isn't the word for female misogyny towards
just
men?
Fed up with men. I think that's what it is. Just fed up with men being men.
Yeah. So do you know what? I'm proud of us. We're on 3 hours sleep. We feel like Banoonis, but we're here because we would miss you if we weren't here.
If you haven't, subscribe to the channel.
Don't forget, it's only 2 of us here, so it just means a lot. If you subscribe and if you share videos, that really helps us out.
Just to explain for a number of people, obviously there's been a lot of Gaza content on the channel. There's going to be a lot more Gaza content on the channel. There's also footage and material about Donald Trump's America. We do coffee moaning for anyone who's new to the channel. We do coffee moaning most mornings where we're not ill. And we will talk about Gaza within that, but sometimes when we know that Gaza is being catered for in other content, we will kind of work around it a little bit for those who just want to kind of need to be able to step aside from it for a bit. We all need to do that, ourselves included.
Oh, lovely. Hillary's brother has just subscribed. What's your brother's name?
Yes.
Hillary. We need to give him a shout out. And if anyone's new here, give us a wave and we can shout your name out. So, my darling, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, this is something that actually I was really interested in this discussion yesterday, actually. And I think I mentioned it in Coffee Moaning. And I saw James O'Brien was talking about it also on his LBC radio show here in the UK. And this was the idea of the way in which and the timing around how the police revealed the racial and skin color identity of the Liverpool car ramming nutter, who it transpires was apparently high on drugs. So it was drug driving under the influence of drugs.
So we're going to be
talking about that because it speaks to, after the Southport catastrophe and awfulness of last year and the riots that spun out the back of misinformation. I think there's a lot to unpack here around the rights and wrongs.
And I'm going to be talking a bit about the loose women cuts, because so many of you are asking questions, and then there's so people are coming to their own conclusions. So I can just tell you what I know for sure. So and the reactions. Actually, this is off the back of my friend and colleague Jane Moore's piece in The Sun today. And I know lots of you have left comments on my Instagram, so I'm going to be reading out some of those.
Good.
But first of all, should we just have a little giggle? Let's have a little giggle clip.
Well, we're going to have a giggle, and let's have a giggle first, and then I want to talk about something else very briefly. Which one do you want to go for?
So you can choose, guys. Do you want a bit of nostalgia, right? Do you want siblings, or would you like a real, and when I say this adoringly because I love little madam girls, or a real little madam girl? So nostalgia from a grown person, children, siblings, and the little fights they have, or a little madam.
Oh.
Whatever starts to come up the most.
I'm always drawn to little madams because I've had 4 little madams and I'm married to a little madam. In fact, that's what they should call loose women, little madams, shouldn't they? Nostalgia. Claire
what do you
Hayward,
think's coming up the most?
Nostalgia.
So far, nostalgia. Okay, here we go.
Sorry, when I cough, can I just quickly ask before we do this? Can you, every time I cough, it is such a sharp pain. This is not male stuff. This is a sharp pain like no other. I've had broken ribs, and this is more painful. It feels like my heart is going to fly out of my fucking rib cavity.
Could I read them the WhatsApp that I got this morning?
Yes, you can.
Before we'd had a good morning.
This was off the back of 4 hours sleep. This was also dealing with many Zionist bots under our Gaza upload last night. It's not
So
caveat.
before a good morning or even anything else.
No, that's a good morning.
Did you?
I think so, yeah.
Before you launched into your
Yeah, on the other account.
Oh, on the other account.
Mm.
But this is the one I saw first.
Okay.
It's highly likely that my heart is bruised. Dash. When I cough, or indeed try to cough, it is agony in the left side of my chest.
There is points there. Yeah. That's
Please
not the
let
end of
Maddie
it. I
know I'm unable to give her a lift this morning. My answer, it'll be a muscle. I'll bring you a homeopathic remedy.
It's muscle, but of course I looked up because the heart is a muscle.
Yes. So, the good wife that I am, I googled it.
This isn't always
Can you have
about
a heart?
just saying,
Can you have ruptured your heart
Yeah.
from coughing?
that's what I asked, but it said yes.
I didn't find enough evidence.
Google
of
AI
that.
said yes.
So then I called my sister, who's a trained cardiologist.
She's not.
And
She's a
we went
tap
through.
teacher.
We went.
I mean, guys, anyone here who's been coming for the first time, she teaches tap. She is not a cardiologist.
Well, those of you that know us well know my story about when I was doing City Hospital and I was in an open heart operation, and the heart, to get it starting again, they got a bloody spoon and tapped it.
I read a story
they
of some.
tapped the heart with a spoon, and it started going.
I was haunted by a memory of a manatee, a rotting dead manatee that we filmed with for Nat Geo, that was dead and on a vet's kind of slab, you know, where they open them up. And we did a piece to camera with Ruth England, and as they put the knife in the dead manatee, it was so swollen, the heart exploded out of the manatee, ricocheting around the room 85 times.
85. 85
maybe
times.
70 times.
Maybe half a
30.
time.
No, anyway, everyone had to duck and take cover. Anyway, I'm worried it's going to fly out.
Change your glasses.
Why?
I'm sick as Sven-Jon Eriksson, or whatever his name was. Better.
And now I look like Harry Potter, which is
We've got a
interesting.
little story on
Actually,
Harry
look,
Potter.
there they are, the new ones.
Oh, they're adorable.
This is the new cast of Harry Potter.
They are so cute.
Haven't got their names. But of course, already online discussions have been had about how Hermione is potentially not white. But if you apparently go to the source material, it's always been dubious as to whether she was white. So,
just noise.
So anyway, so let's go to nostalgia.
So we've got Sven has now gone to sleep. Where could these possibly go now?
On my desk, because I need them. They're great for editing.
Okay. So where were we?
It's not a chest infection, Lynn. I know a chest infection. I've had pneumonia. I've had asthma. This is sharp and hard. It feels like when you see me cough, I go like that, and it feels like when I took my top up this morning, I wouldn't have been surprised to see blood coming out.
Wow.
Oh.
So, Lynn, you were just on the end of exactly what I've been on the end of the last 5 or 6 days.
Stuart G.
No, Linda.
Stuart
Lynn,
G,
it's not that. I know what a heart infection is. That's what I get all the
Stuart
time.
G, you've pulled a muscle.
Maddie said it last night. She goes, Mum, I don't know how you do it.
Shut up.
She said you were literally trying to get his symptoms and you were saying you were going to give him a remedy. She's going, I'm just boiling a kettle.
I'm just what?
I'm just boiling a kettle.
I didn't say it like
You
that.
did. You did.
When?
Yesterday. But anyway, enough of your illnesses.
Okay, all right. Bit nostalgia.
Have you asked me how my illness is today?
Well, I thought you were going to.
How am I today?
How are you today?
I know about every aorta.
Fine.
I'm pushing through.
So
I did
am I.
childbirth. Yeah.
I need open heart surgery and I'm pushing through. I need stents.
Apparently chest infections do feel, I love the way Lynn is bravely carrying through. Who's just said that? Lynn just said that.
See, intercostal muscles between ribs, Faith says, does it hurt if you take a deep? No, it doesn't. That's what worries me. It doesn't have the obvious attributes of just muscle
Well, let's
pain.
go back to Lynn, who knows about heart infections.
Does she?
Yes.
Lynn.
She said that's what hers felt.
For anyone who's new, I do apologize. We don't often spend this amount of time having hypochondria. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Do you know what? Most people love a bit of hypochondria, I find. And there's an awful lot. Oh, could be pleurisy, says Suzanne. Susan?
What is pleurisy?
Don't know. Best get it checked.
It sounds like it's plural of something. Anyway, here's a chap being nostalgic about something.
I think we've now lost a great British childhood tradition of sucking on a flannel in the bath. Please tell me there are other people out there that used to do this when they were growing up. It's Sunday night, it's bath night, Heartbeats just come on the telly, you go upstairs, the bath's full of Mr. Matey, bubbles everywhere, maybe you're sharing it with a sibling or two, you fish out your flannel, you put it over your mouth and just suck in that sweet, sweet nectar. That was how I kept hydrated in the 90s. That's the closest I got to just drinking water. The rest of the time I'm on Shandy Bass and Sunny Delight, maybe an umbongo at a party, but nothing compared to bath water through a flannel. I've got 4 kids, right? And I just noticed the other day, the eldest is 10. I've done a decade of bath times, literally thousands of baths. None of my kids have even attempted to suck on a flannel. Is this an effect of YouTube or something? Are they overstimulated? Can they not get that dopamine hit anymore? Get the flannel, cover it in water, over the mouth.
Oh my God, Dina, are you...
That is horrible. It is horrible now, but that was great. That was the good stuff. Oh, no.
If Dina's here, Dina, if my sister's here, oh no, she's not. She's doing a workshop today.
Never heard
she
of this
would, or get the end, and you just suck and suck and suck on the flannel.
Why?
I don't know. That I mean, I only remembered it when he said it. Oh look, Stuart, he remembers sucking on a flannel. There's obviously an age where it ended.
Well, no,
maybe there was
90s.
Maybe there was a public service thing where they said it's bacterial.
No, you did it in the 90s. It's way beyond where you were. I mean, sucking on a flannel.
Maybe it's because you didn't have siblings.
I think we ever had. No, I know what it is.
We should try and find out if only children, are they the only ones that didn't suck flannels?
It sounds like a research project for somewhere in Chicago, doesn't it? I mean, God Almighty, let's find out. What will the results of that be?
Laura, we were too poor for flannels and matey bubbles.
Oh, well, maybe that's it. I never had a flannel. We never had flannels. Flannels were considered the kind of face towels of posh people.
Oh, flannels weren't. They were grey. They were horrible.
Yeah, but you were posh,
my mum
dirty
just
people.
used to, our flannels were horrible. My mum would wash them, but they were
My nan just had a sponge.
Oh, hang on. Breaking news. Karen is an only child and she sucked her flannel.
Wow, I used to suck a sponge.
Oh, yeah. You're a sponge sucker. You're a different breed.
You're a sponge.
I should have known that first bloody time I met you.
I loved sucking a sponge.
Zoe doesn't get this because, Zoe, you are too young.
Yeah, but did you suck a sponge? Anyone who was feeling very outside this conversation and sort of like almost like, oh, I feel a bit abnormal. I'm going to be part of this new research policy that Nadia's going to encourage.
If anyone would like to fund it, please do.
Dawny Harvey, you sucked on a sponge. Reese, morning, Mark and Nadia. Hope you're well.
Morning,
as
Reese.
An only child, could and did never.
You never sucked. Right.
I don't believe you,
I want
Reese.
you all tonight to try sucking a flannel. Now,
Reese Roberts has got the look of a man who sucked a sponge.
But this isn't a huge amount of water. So, like, you've got your flannel.
We don't need to demonstrate.
And you sort of go. So you squeeze it out. And and you go bite it in, and then you take it out, and then you get the end, and then you bite and suck into it.
Someone said it could be a broken rib. Sorry.
You need to call a doctor. People here have given you advice. That's the last thing I'm going to say on it.
Fucking hell.
People are saying pleurisy. I'd never heard of it. So maybe you've got pleurisy. Right. So let's move on.
Okay, I'm just going to show you this. Elon Musk fired another human take off in space. It roared all the way up.
Peak that engine view. Booster doing the boost back. If you're just tuning in, we were able to successfully make it to orbit.
So billions. Can I
just ask one thing?
Yeah.
What does it do to the planet?
He says there's all sorts of scientific experiments.
Where does it all go when it blows up?
Oh, I see all of that. Oh, it just goes into that. I mean, I think the fuselage of this was recycled, which could explain why they kind of were very keen on taking all our cans the other day.
Okay, let's move on.
Oceanic therapy by Mark Ring. I don't want to ring 111. It frightens
I think you
me.
should.
No, I don't want to.
But you're not allowed to moan about it.
Oh God! Well, can I, when I cough, wince and exhale? Because otherwise, it hurts.
Okay, we'll take a vote on that. Is he allowed to wince and wince and what?
Inhale, exhale, exhale.
Like this.
Yeah, and then exhale like. Oh.
Okay, let's get to the
Hang on.
serious stuff.
Put my finger. Welcome,
I don't
everyone.
know why I did that.
Because you're part of the team. You like to have a laugh with
Get
me.
on with it.
Don't you love me?
Come on.
Tell me you love me.
No, not when you've got
Tell
this
me you
terrible
love
habit.
me. Tell me you do. You know you love me even when I'm in love with you. Okay. Right. Let's talk about this. Should the police reveal the race or skin color of suspects when a crime like the awful car ramming at the Liverpool football celebrations just a couple of days ago? So just to say, the Liverpool driver was high on drugs. He's still being questioned. He was a 53-year-old white man. This is what they announced. And
Is this the police statement saying that he was high on drugs?
yeah, this is just breaking news this morning that he was high on drugs. Now, the police, there's a piece in The Guardian in which former Superintendent Dal Babu says that although the decision to reveal the suspect's ethnicity was correct, he worries it could be exploited by the far right. And we wanted to know what you thought about this, because I think the main reason they revealed the identity of the suspect as a 53-year-old white man was because misinformation was already rapidly spreading across social media, suggesting this was a Muslim attack, it was radical Islam.
There was lots of sort of nudge, winks,
Yeah.
weren't there, to like, certain massive accounts that were saying, well, we all know what this is going to be.
So I think the police did that. This is just my take on it. I think they did exactly the right thing. I don't think there was any choice here, because they obviously read the situation. And I think the Merseyside police, was it the same police force that dealt with Southport, the Southport stabbings? It's not too far away. So I think they felt they had to do this because, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, with the Southport stabbings, a lot of the violence that erupted evolved out of a feeling amongst certain groups, principally racist anti-immigration groups, that the authorities were concealing the identity of the person and protecting them because of their being black and being second generation migrant. They were born in the UK.
I was listening to
I seem to remember, wasn't actually just on that, just for a moment, wasn't the detail that he wasn't quite 18? Wasn't that why they couldn't? I mean, I think that was it's quite a valid, boring legal reason for that.
I was listening to the news agents last night, and they had the LBC, is he crime expert? Absolutely
right, Bunty. The police would have been criticised either way.
Either way. And they were talking about all of this and saying, and they asked him, is this something that the police have wanted to do? And he said the police have wanted to do this for a very long time. It's the news agents, if you want to listen to the whole interview. But I think we've got a little clip here of what he was saying was building, basically.
Be that they had to do it because if they didn't do it, there would have been violence. Let's get this right. Some members of the far right, the same people who inspired the Southport riots, they were frothing at the mouth. They were waiting for this information to come out. And then when the information wasn't the stuff that they wanted it to be, even then they still tried to deny it. They said this is a PR campaign. So even the facts were there, they still weren't having it.
And then later on, John Sopel asked the question,
what would have happened
if it had been totally different and this had been, a migrant, would they have released the information? And the crime expert there, the crime journalist there, was saying, well, it's quite a tricky position.
It's incredibly tricky.
Very tricky, because they will presumably have to do that every time. I mean, what will they do?
Well, that's exactly what this former superintendent Dal Babu says. He says, it doesn't take rocket science to predict what will happen. The far right will twist this and say, right, you've named the person because it's a white person. Why aren't you naming the race of the next person? And it will present some difficulties and challenges to the police. He says, although the decision was correct to share information on this occasion to combat racist and Islamophobic misinformation, he warned that every decision should be taken on a case by case. You could imagine a situation where the far right will say, oh, you haven't named the ethnicity. Is that because they are a person of color? I think,
God, what a mess.
It is a mess. It's a real hot potato. Because of course, the problem here is that, as we've already seen with what he said there, he said they were frothing. Far right, extremist right groups were frothing. When told the truth, they didn't accept the truth anyway. You're not dealing with normal, intelligent people.
Feels like MAGA.
It doesn't matter what you say. So in a sense, they're just looking for any
because there's this idea that Islamophobia is, is Islamic Sharia law will eventually take over this country. There's only 6% of the population that are Muslims, and you've got to remember the absolute majority are decent, upstanding citizens. This is just whipped up hate.
It's a very good point,
really
actually.
is whipped up hate, and I feel so sorry for the police because they are between a rock and a hard place. What can they actually do?
This is a really valid point from Christos. Thank you. Maybe the police were anticipating the release of Tommy Robinson, which of course he was released yesterday, looking like Mel Gibson, who'd been in prison for 25 years. In conjunction with the event and the person behind it to avoid more clashes. Yes, there could have been a real sweet spot there.
And he had Buddhist beads on.
And a mega hat.
A Robinson Crusoe beard and a hat with mega on it.
Make England great again. Make England great again. Mega twat.
That is where we are at. And again, I think we're in an unholy position where, but the thing is, they will also be screaming, "Oh, two-tiered policing." Well, you're creating this nightmare.
The problem is now, I think the genie is out of the bottle, and I think from my position, I think now with every single case, they have to be announced as quickly as they can. Yeah, if you can't remove or pretend that these racists aren't going to be racist. They're looking for any reason to smash the joint up. So if, say, and I think this was also the case. This is why I homed in on the Ukrainian arsonist who attacked Keir Starmer's apartment. That was revealed really quickly. I almost felt the palpable disappointment, not of the far right, because I'm not plugged into their social media. I felt the palpable disappointment of the legacy right-wing media when what was offered to them was, what? A person of Ukrainian, a white person? I could feel it. I could feel the fever pitch of the places like the Telegraph. It was just like, So I think you have to now announce the identity of everyone. Otherwise, the police just have to. The genie's out. You have to, unless they're under 18.
We will see. There'll be many people making those decisions, but I'm so glad I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
So glad I'm just little old me.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your lovely show, Loose Women. And here's an image of Jane Moore. Loose Women's Jane Moore hits out at snooty reaction to ITV's brutal daytime cuts.
Yeah, this isn't. Well, that's from somewhere actually different.
This is in the Sun.
But her
Loose Women cut sparked outburst of lazy misogyny from mainly male trolls who have no idea why the show's so important.
Exactly, and then she goes on to talk about, though we aren't a political show, we have the politicians on, and they're usually very scared.
Yeah.
In fact, I seem to remember years ago when Farage came on, and actually probably somebody would be able to find it because there was a packed photo of, as he came in around the back of ITV Studios in his car, there was a folder with something like things to talk to women about. Yes, it was. Yes,
to talking to women.
Somebody see now if they can find it. It was years ago. Not a guide. It was a folder.
But I like to now imagine him with a 1947 guide of how to liaise.
But it was something like that. They get very nervous because they don't know what we're going to ask them because it will be something out the blues. Out the blue. We do amazing campaigns around domestic violence, breast cancer, mental health, hugely. Bryony Gordon wrote a fantastic piece, thank you, Bryony, about how much it meant to her going on shows like Lorraine and Loose Women and talking about her addiction and her mental health. And read her piece, actually. It really is great and very supportive. So Jane says, since the cuts were announced, the amount of hostility from people that you can tell don't even watch the show, misogynistic puff, and it's the way people almost hold their nose like this. This show has been highly successful for 25 years, more actually now. It is such a clear brand. Loose Women is mentioned, how many dramas, how many programs around the world. It is, and Lorraine, how long has Lorraine been there? Just, again, doing amazing campaigns. I think of my friend Helen Addis and her Change and Check campaign, where she literally, that campaign has saved life after life after life. Both shows, Lorraine and Loose Women, you know, helped us with our In Her To
Your campaign
campaign.
for Hannah and
You
In Her
know,
To, yeah.
just so caring, and so are my boss on Loose Women. Every time I say, how's Hannah? And that's what I want to move on to, actually, is the brutality of the world, right? To see what a lot of people don't realize is that we're self-employed. Loose Women is self-employed. Yeah, every contract is a new contract. I you know, I could be let go tomorrow. I could be let go in 5 years. You don't know, because we're not employees. So I can't tell you anything other than I'm on to my next contract. Nobody will tell me any different. It's never been any different the whole time. But what's been brutal, absolutely brutal, over the last week, and honestly, I feel tearful about it,
the production,
is that hundreds of people were made redundant, are going to be made redundant out of the blue.
Hundreds.
These are all the people behind the scenes, right, that support us in every way. You cannot have one without the other. But it's just the way of the world. Inflation is insane. Cuts have to be made, and I know you guys will be feeling this within your families, and with many of you will have partners or yourself have been made redundant, and being self-employed people, we're in a constant roundabout of being out of work and in work and out of work. But a lot of my friends and colleagues on this show and Work Fight, you've been there for decades, and I can't tell you how upsetting it was to see people just walking around numb with shock and fear about what they were going to do. And, you know, television is coming slowly, very slowly, to its natural end, like so many professions are, aren't they? And there's so many people, not just in show business or telly, that are looking at, like, what am I going to do next with my life? What you know? And so that has been so awful. That's been worse for many of us than whatever horrible things that trolls say about our shows that we all feel, you know, really protective of. So I'm so proud of Jane for just calling them out. You know, and these are a lot of newspapers writing vile things, just like they always have for the last 25, 26 years. Oh, we're to this, we're to that. You know, every single day, the sidebar of hate picks up on something that somebody said, or a look. You know, you hate this one, you hate that one. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Actually, do you know what? At the moment, all of us on screen are in work and are proud of what we do. But behind the scenes, there are people that are really suffering. And what you don't realize is when you attack the show, you attack them, because you never see all the army of people behind the scenes and how hard they work. So to all my friends and colleagues behind the scenes that just got the most huge shock out of the blue, I'm so sorry. And Mark knows, don't you, how much of how upset I've been at home about it. I just can't bear it. So just be fucking kind to people, you know? And all you snooty, misogynistic, old-fashioned, mansplaining men in your tired old newspapers, shut up, or at least just watch it once from beginning to end, because that's the awful thing. You've never watched it and you have these opinions.
But also, one of the other things they seem to misunderstand and not understand is it's meant to be a show in which opinionated women express their opinions. And I would argue that so many shows on television just don't have that. You don't get that anyway. You don't get.
There's no show with
everything is but also everything is so blancmange and sort of average, which is why this would be my proposition. Of all the brands that ITV has, the one that lends itself best to a hugely successful digital presence. I know they have a YouTube channel, but I mean with content that's geared towards the digital market, is Loose Women. Everything that's clickbaity is people with strong opinions on all of the topics that you talk about. This is the
But
future.
that's what a lot of the men that are in charge of legacy media do not like. They don't want we to be a difficult woman is very irritating. I like being difficult. I'm sorry, I just must read out some of the comments because people were kind enough to leave them.
Yeah.
Because I posted Jane's article and asked people to comment. Well, I've forgotten how you get the bloody comments when you've done a story. I always have trouble with that. Very lovely things said. People actually do feel very angry. Now, like I said earlier, we know we're not stupid. We know that TV is a dying thing. But for an awful lot of people my age, TV is still their main. I mean, most people that are with us here now are younger than me. You know, so there is a whole generation that very much want television, and there's a whole generation where we could never do. We love doing what we do here, but we could never get a campaign like we can put on Loose Women. You know, we've won BAFTAs, we've won RTS awards. Our campaigning is second to none. It's done with passion. It's done with heart. We share our own stories. I mean, I've talked about everything on that show, as most of the Loose Women. Miscarriages, mental health, Mark's alcoholism, all that stuff that brings the audience to us instead of going, now here we are, aren't we rather lovely? And you're just sitting over there and you're rather, you know, that's really important.
Laura Lou says Loose Women has been there for many lonely new mums, for young women and old women, and we've grown up with you. We've needed Loose Women and it's always been there.
Yeah, and I think it's an insult when these papers, when these newspapers just dismiss us all as just like, I don't know what, old bags, as Jane says in her piece, old bags. Sorry, we cannot identify with what you are talking about there, because when you say that to us, you know, you're also saying that to our audience, don't you? You do realise that you're insulting our audience and potentially the people that buy your newspapers.
Amy, definitely keep the podcast going on a YouTube channel. I think this is a recommended advice for ITV. I think they would be wise to do that.
Yeah.
Isabella Mia, I'm currently a TV runner and I'm already debating switching careers. It's a really scary industry at the moment. It's funny how live sports is the only sector not being threatened. Well, what's happening is within creative industries, it's called consolidation, where more and more companies collapse into more and more companies, and where you get a hit, that hit gets recommissioned for more runs, and then you get a very sort of, you know, a little bit. I mean, like Loose was a victim of its own success. It's been running for years. It's had its own little kind of microclimate, if you like, of staff and team and what have you. And so what happens is when you have a success, that's guaranteed, but that's taking up airtime. Not your show, but I'm talking about primetime shows, that gobbles up space for anything new. So you're right, as a runner coming in, it's very tricky at all levels, at all levels of the industry. It's an incredibly, it's falling flat on its face. It really is. It doesn't know what it can offer young people, because what it offers young people is really just running you ragged, literally running you ragged at quite a cheap price. And then quite quickly you hit a ceiling, or you might just be let go. Oh.
Mr. Epps, some of these are anonymous, so I won't say the names they are. I'm utterly heartbroken. How are you? Oh, that's very sweet. Penny, annoyed, gutted, R.A. Trap. Paul says, I'm really annoyed that they would cut back the show. Feels its relevant today more so.
Yeah, by the way, it's not going.
It's not going.
It's been cut back.
It's just cut back
massively.
to
30 weeks.
D. Lem, gutted, it's my favourite show. Zoe, sorry. Oh, one more. She's obviously left others. Let's see the other one. Will say, Loose Women has so much importance for women. It covers so much, and the only female panel on TV. It feels extremely dismissive to the panel and the staff, and also to the viewers. Well, unfortunately, they can't afford. We are still doing 30 a year, which will be more like 30 weeks. Which will be more like it was in the old days. Yeah. So, as I say again, the people on screen haven't lost their jobs. It's the people behind the scenes that have lost their jobs.
Someone was just asking, what do you mean about TV keeling over? And really, Edward Bevington answers it. And this isn't just specific to ITV. ITV figures are tanking. BBC figures, mainstream, linear, old-fashioned television is the footfall and the viewership is just going down. It's pivoting over to digital platforms. That doesn't mean they won't create content, But I wouldn't be at all surprised if in 10 years' time, we'll no longer have linear TV channels. We'll have streaming channels that will be called ITV or BBC or whatever. But it will be it'll be the iPlayer. You'll go to the iPlayer.
More and more shows will shift over to YouTube. Stuart G, thank you. Loose women should be on more, not less. And an anonymous one here. Do they not realise, this is talking about the press again, I think, just how many subjects you cover? Exactly. And you know what? Having different aged women, because that's the other thing that's going on online in these papers, like, oh, it'd be all the oldies that go, or it'll be all the... So we're either the old bag, as Jane says again in her piece, or you're the young bimbos. It is misogynistic. And, you know, if you love loose women, if you read this sort of stuff, if you could then contact those platforms and papers that talk like that, because they're talking like that about you at the same time, and it's fucking rude.
Bunty says, keep it on here and call it use women.
Lots of lovely messages. And Lee, Loose Women is an institution, thank you, Lee, and such an informative, important program. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Stop trolling, guys. Just stop trolling. You know what? Just have a thought. Have you ever had anyone in your family, any of your friends made redundant? Think about all our team behind us that also get hurt by just dismissing a show. They work far harder than we do. Far harder. They're there earlier than us, and they're there after we go.
They very definitely
and
do.
they're not brought cups of teas and coffees and bacon sandwiches and looked after. They're not. And you, when you troll us, you troll them.
Well said. Huzzah! Well said. Well done, baby.
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
By the way, you can say anything you like to me, because I don't give a shit.
Moving on to HBO's new Harry Potter stars. We popped them up at the beginning. Let's pop them up again. I just wanted to sort of pop this up because we posted it on the Popcorn Junkies and say, wow, these three individuals have zero comprehension. I mean, you know, obviously we've already had the films. There will be less of a kind of madness, but not necessarily. You know, this is the brand. They're redoing all of the books, many series on HBO Max, all sorts of kind of debates about who's been cast in some of the main roles. But these youngsters here, I just want to find their names because it's so.
Just wanted to read Dawny there. Just made redundant.
Arabella Stanton, Dominic McLaughlin, and Alistair Stout. That's who these three are. Sorry,
Don. It's just I didn't want.
No,
Dawny, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. She made redundant after 28 years.
Oh, there you are. Oh, sweetie.
It's like my friend Kaz, Dance Your Tits Off, 25 years, and she just got a week's notice from the NHS. It was the coldest, most void letter, and it's happening to so many people, and we just have to be really, really kind around it. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Donnie.
I didn't want to do this.
No, absolutely. Sorry that was underneath the shot of three kids in Harry Potter.
Sorry.
Okay, so and in important breaking news, worker bees like to get drunk and guard bees punish them by breaking their legs.
Oh,
that's crazy. God. Worker bees like to get drunk, but the guard bees punish them by breaking their legs. Okay, let's have another funny. Which one do you want to go for?
Let's go for siblings, because that was
the one
that people wanted the most. Yeah.
Stop moving now. I said stop.
It's so classic.
Why did you do that?
This might get knowing the YouTube algorithm. They might toddler violence.
I love this.
Yeah. Oh, gentle.
This is mine. No.
You can have the sweetest garden of the earth.
Yeah.
Why do babies like to sit on people's heads? It's so weird.
Oh God.
Oh. Gentle. Give it back to me.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Breathe.
going to get punched.
Why are you guys so... Here.
You gotta calm down if you want me to give this to you. Calm down. Calm down if you want me to give this to you. Calm down. Calm down.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, with the dog that you were so terrified.
Well, we did. We had a cat that we were terrified
Yeah.
of. Yeah. No,
Oh,
absolutely.
God.
Just quickly, back referencing the loose story, Gen X are literally falling into an employment black hole, whilst the retirement age has also been increased.
I know.
It's just,
I know.
it's shocking.
I know. Is that? All right, guys. Well, listen. We love you very much. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell all your friends about us. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah. I'm going to go and check my
We're going to go
rib
collapse.
cavity.
Feel awful.
All
Lots
right.
of love.
Lots of
Bye,
love, guys.
guys.
Thanks for all your comments. Bye-bye.